The sooner that you realize that the people that are close to everybody are furthest from themselves, and they're going to be the first ones also to spill any kind of secrets or anything personal about you to other people as well, the sooner you'll be having peace of mind in your life. And so in this video today, what I want to talk about is what happens when family and friends have a need to sabotage you. Because as great as the nuclear family idea is, and as great as the establishment and the institution of family is, it's also very harrowing of an experience to go through this kind of proliferation of idiocracy and the smear campaigns that are going to be put against you in times like when this happens. And obviously blood is not necessarily going to be a determination and a determining factor of loyalty. And I just want to tell you all right now that I started my spiritual awakening and really just coming into myself as a man when I was about 22 years old. That was really when things really started to change for the better overall. Even though for those first couple years after that awakening, it was absolute hell. I mean, it was just the absolute worst. I could have never imagined the kind of pain and suffering I would have had to go through before that. And it wasn't even physical pain. It was all spiritual and emotional and psychological. But what hurt most of all is, it's actually been over 6 years now since that awakening has happened, and so over half a decade. And I can tell you all that the only people that are still around from that time are they're just alive. They're no longer in my life. A lot of these people are no longer in my life. I don't really talk to a lot of the people in my family anymore, and I don't have friends anymore. It's not like it's not like this is a sad thing. It's just that this is a fact of life, right? And so I don't have friends. I have people that I build with, and I have people that I'm not building with. And if you're going to be in my life, then we're going to be building something together. We're going to be going toward a common goal. Otherwise, if you're going against my interests, then I just cannot be around you. I can't really give you the time of day. I simply cannot afford to be around people that are living a lie, because I'm living in the truth and the spirit. And people that are living in a lie are going to be a liability and not an asset to my life. And so with that being said, the reason that this happens, and when this happens, you've got to be able to have the mental fortitude to see beyond the moment as it is. Because if you don't, then you're going to experience far more suffering than you need to. And I know this because I did. The first time that I really started to see that the people in my family were actually trying to just get information out of me, and then they would use it against me down the line. In fact, the people that I thought I could trust most in my family, and I'm never going to say names or anything like that or who exactly it is, but the people that I thought I could trust most were the ones that ended up hurting the most. And going through that kind of betrayal can really damage your sense of reality, because not only do you think to yourself, okay, obviously I have no clue who the hell you are because you are somebody completely different than I thought you were. And that means that I'm living a life that is not at all congruent with the life that I thought I was living. Therefore, I'm living in an illusion. So if I'm living in illusions, what is the reality? Because a lot of the times you'll see and you'll begin to realize that these same people want to sabotage you. They cannot stand to see you grow, because they've given up on themselves. And it's not necessarily to say that we want to see other people give up on themselves, but if people are going to put themselves in a situation in which they're not going to strive, they're not going to become better. And some of these people, this was the craziest thing that I've seen, was that some of these people looked so good on the outside. They looked really healthy. And yet their soul was filled with greed and vanity and all of the sins that you could possibly imagine. And yet to everybody else, they seemed just fine. But with you, oh, no, we can't have you going and doing something that is within your destiny. No. And that really sucked. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It really sucked to go through that. And my heart goes out to anybody that's going through something like that right now, because I know that it's not an easy task to go through. But you also, I don't recommend that you just give up on the relationships that you have. I don't necessarily think that you ought to. I think letting people go completely of your life is going to be the last resort. Okay, and I had to do that with a lot of people, and it was more along the lines of, look, it's simply the case that my heart is breaking too much to see the kind of turmoil emotionally and the health of this family and the health of what's happening in these situations completely deteriorate so fast. I simply cannot afford to be a part of it. And my heart breaks for it. But I cannot afford to be a part of it. And when you do stuff like that, the Bible says, blessed are those that mourn, right? And I mourned. I mourned a lot, and I tried to fill the grief that I had, losing my family and losing some people that were my friends and all that. I tried to fill the grief with a player lifestyle, and I tried to fill the grief with just anything to distract myself. And really a lot of that was food. Food was my comfort. And I was eating pizza and ice cream, oh my gosh, 3-4 times a week plus. And I just didn't care. I just didn't really care anymore. And I was eating my life away, and I was consuming so much because I didn't want to accept the emptiness that was actually in my stomach. I was trying to fill that emptiness of intimacy and closeness by trying to resort to other external things. And he who resorts to externalities to fill spiritual needs is going to be completely dismantled in their spirit. And I know this because I went through it. And I know how hard it is to be going through something like this. But I encourage you to give yourself compassion during this time. If you cannot give yourself compassion, like you don't know what that means or what that looks like, give yourself forgiveness and really ask God to look at the situation with clarity, because sometimes you might be feeling shame from the people in your family or your friends, and it actually might be you. Like it actually might be you, okay? But and you need to take accountability for that. But it actually sometimes it might not be, okay? And if your heart is with pure intentions and you're not trying to actually start anything, like you genuinely have a good, clean, pure heart, and people are just trying to take advantage of it, this is why I say that relationships of all kind are transactional. They're all transactional. And if they weren't, then we'd be still with narcissistic people, right? Otherwise, like, this is one of the reasons why things and in relationship and the relationship dynamic has to be transactional to some degree. Because if it's not, like you guys have heard the whole you get what you give, right? It's really that. And a lot of the people that want to sabotage you, they're not wanting to see and give you the respect that you deserve. And you might not be giving the respect that these other people deserve, and you got to make sure that you're doing that. Because if you're not, like, maybe these people really are respectable. And I had many times where throughout my whole life, I kept thinking that I was the problem. I was convinced at one point when I was about 17, I was convinced that, you know what, maybe I am the problem. I don't know. Maybe I am. Because I was convinced that and gaslit into believing that. But the thing is that if you're questioning if you're the narcissist or you're the person that's like, are you in the wrong? Well, usually the people that have the self-awareness to think that and ask that question are the ones that are actually not in the wrong. It's usually the people that don't have the self-awareness to say, am I in the wrong here? That's usually the kind of person that they're usually in the wrong. So if you can ask yourself this question, I'm not saying that you're completely off the hook, but what I'm saying is that if you can ask yourself this question and give yourself a genuine, honest answer, then you're going to probably get to a position to where it's going to be better for you. You're going to be living a better life, and you're going to be living with more self-awareness, because ultimately awareness is wealth. And because the more aware you are, like, I would tell you to sacrifice everything you can for discernment and awareness. And I'm not necessarily saying, like, you know, throw out everything that you own or whatever. I'm just saying, like, be willing to go through all the trials and tribulations that you need to get that discernment and to get that awareness and that spiritual awareness specifically on what you need to be doing and how you need to be doing it. And so, with all this being said, watch out for these people that are trying to sabotage you. Oh, don't go after your dreams. You don't need to go after that. Like, dreams don't matter. I was literally told that growing up. I was literally told that. And when I was 17 and I really started to question if I was the problem, it was, you know, I never did try to necessarily commit suicide, but I did think about attempting it. And honestly, that's the most cowardice thing to do. There's a reason that Judas is still in hell, okay? Judas did not go to hell because he betrayed Jesus. He went to hell because he killed himself. Now think about that for a second, right? So what exactly does that mean? It means that you can do pretty much everything in this life and God will forgive you. It doesn't mean there's not consequences for your actions, but you'll be forgiven by God. Okay? So you just have to not commit yourself to sabotage. And the people that sabotage themselves the most are the ones that are going to have to do the most to repent. And they still might be in hell. Who knows? Look, like, I'm a follower of Christ, obviously, right? And hell and heaven are real places, but they're also metaphysical. That's the way that I see it. It's not necessarily that, like, hell and heaven are states of mind, and that state of mind is a real place. You can experience that heavenliness or that hellishness on earth, but consciousness is going to get to a point where, if there's enough evolution of life involved, then you're going to get to that beyond. Okay, you're going to get to that beyond. And these people that want to sabotage themselves, they're not going where you're going. Okay, they're just not. And it's unfortunate, but this is what you need to see with great clarity before embarking on the journey that you need to be on and what you're destined for. Because these people will try to sabotage your destiny. and they will try to put curses on your life and hindrances on your life if you're not careful. So be careful and stay clear of these people that are close to everybody, because as the saying goes, a friend to everybody is a friend to none. So with that being said, I hope this message was useful and insightful, and until next time, peace be with you.